If you're in a relationship that sucks, you think it's because there's more work you have to do. There's some trauma you're still holding on to. It must be you. You blame yourself consistently for the state of the relationship. And that's not the case. So this is where I'm going to break the news. Your relationship isn't like that because you just have more to heal, because it's on you, because you're the one to blame, you're just too emotional, you're just too irrational. None of that. You're not too traumatized, nor are you too broken to experience a beautiful relationship. So you think it's your fault because you're just not deserving of this beautiful relationship yet, because there are some things you haven't healed. Let's take that perception and throw it away, like freaking far away, okay? But what is your fault? Because none of that is true, so that's not your fault. But what is your fault is that you have forgotten the cosmic function of a woman. And yes, I'll make it less cryptic. We'll go into what that is. But we have to look at it from a very deep creational level first. Because both woman and man have very different cosmic functions. Now, that cosmic function will complement each other because we're meant to operate as one, but we have different functions. And if you don't know or understand your cosmic function, you will not be able to navigate relationships, unions correctly. Because you're not stewarding it, you're not leading. You're not leading with your cosmic function, meaning you're not leading with your responsibility that you have towards creation, towards life itself. And when you're not doing that, you're getting caught up in someone else's bullshit and think you just have more inner work to do. And I know that especially the women that do the deep inner self work like to get caught up in relationships whose due date was like freaking 5 years ago. Why? Because we take so much responsibility. We think that if this mirror of reality is showing us this very specific thing, it's because we must still carry something within that is not pure. So, therefore, it's projecting into the outside reality. And that level of thinking has us caught up in shit that would be so easy to deal with if we had the right perception. Your function as a woman is to make sure that life is safe. You are the bearer of life. You bring new life onto this planet. So, on an energetic level, your role is to make sure that this reality you are potentially birthing life into is foolproof. This applies for every single woman. You are made for this. You don't even have to consciously think about it. You are being animated by a force greater than your logical thinking. Okay? You are being animated by God itself, by life itself, by the spark of existence is the very thing that animates you. So you were created as that. You don't have to think about it consciously. You are just made to do that, made to be that. It's your biological, spiritual function. It's an energetic function innately to you as a woman. Because whether you actually want to bring children to this planet or not, it's what you're set up to be. You're here to make sure reality is foolproof. You're here to make sure that reality is safe for new life that is going to come onto this planet. So when you're in a relationship with a man, naturally that function will move through you. You don't have to logically do that. It's just who you are. So if you're with a man, even if you don't plan to have children with him, your innate being, the innate force or power that animates life itself, will make sure that this man is safe, that this man is dummy tested, that with this man, you could potentially create and build life because he's safe. So it doesn't matter what your agenda is. Life itself, existence, and God has a different agenda. And that cosmic function of woman will always work through you. Even if you don't want it, it will just do it because that's who you are. You're the river. He's the riverbed. So his function is different. His function is to make sure life is protected, the realm is protected, reality is protected. And his function is also to recognize that woman is there to test the field. And an initiated man, a man with the correct meta-awareness, will never get triggered by you just living out your cosmic function. He will see it and recognize it and revere it for what it is. And if he's able to be destabilized by you, by what you're confronting him with, or what he's confronted with naturally within the relationship, if he's being destabilized by your emotional weather, guess what an initiated man will do? He will recognize that he's not fully fulfilling his cosmic function. In easy terms, he's not fully doing his job to perfection yet. Because if the little emotional weathers of a woman can destabilize him to a point where he gets triggered, guess what? He's probably not a safe guardian for reality yet. He's probably not fully safe yet to raise children, to have the responsibilities of a family, to have the responsibilities of a business empire, to have the responsibilities of possibly safeguarding thousands of people. And a man with the right meta-awareness, a man that wants to become a leader, a teacher, and a true follower of God, life itself, will recognize that as an inner flaw and will meet it with honesty. An initiated man will never turn his own destabilization towards you. He will never blame you for destabilizing him. In fact, he will thank you for doing that. He will honor you for doing that. And I'm not talking out of my ass. I'm talking out of experience. You know how beautiful it is to be in the presence of such a man? It feels like you're actually in the presence of God itself. Because when a man takes that much responsibility, do you know how safe that feels? Do you know how safe life starts to feel? And that's not something you can experience on your own. That level of beauty is only something you will ever experience in a healed, truthful, beautiful relationship, a union, a truthful union. And that's why this is so close to my heart. Because I know exactly what it is like to be in a different situation. So when both know, man and woman know their cosmic function, a union becomes just so beautiful. Because all of a sudden you realize that, wow, all of that fire that moved through me, all of the spontaneous actions and emotions that just flowed through me, they were never broken. They were always perfection. It's just that I didn't know, and the field I was in didn't know. And because I was with the man that were in training mode, that weren't initiated yet, nor were they truly looking to be initiated. They turned every single movement that came through me against me. And because I didn't fully, securely knew my function yet as a woman, I wasn't rooted in it yet. I wasn't fully embodied in it yet. I doubted it. I doubted myself, or I wanted to make sure that I'm really acting from truth. I turned it against me as well. And a lot of us are doing that. I see it all the time. I hear it in almost every conversation. There's such a beautiful devotion living in you, and you're inverting it because you're turning it against yourself. Here's the thing. You will destabilize a man that is not yet anchored in himself. That's naturally what you're meant to do. Your role as a woman is not to make a man feel comfortable. Comfort comes naturally when both are in truth. Then comfort, beauty is a natural byproduct. It's not something you have to work towards. It's just what it is. You can't fake that. But if you're in a relationship and you don't know each other's cosmic functions, shit will blow up. Especially if you're with a man that is not initiated. Because you will bring forward all the things he hasn't looked at. You will bring forward all the things that he needs to resolve. You will show him where he isn't strength yet. You will show him where he isn't safety yet. And you will reveal where he isn't truth yet. You are the revealer. That's who you are. If a man doesn't have that meta awareness, if a man doesn't know that God reveals through you, you will have a very, very hard time, especially if you don't know your cosmic function. Because now you have a man that functions well when he's in quarantine, meaning he functions well when there's no outside disturbance, right? He thinks he got his shit together because he's pretty stable when there's no outward interference. And the moment that there's outward interference, whether in form of relationships or reality that's coming in, testing him, he will blame. He will blame because he's telling himself a lie that he's doing wonderful, that he's being stable, he's on the path, and you're the problem because you're destabilizing him. That's a man that's in tutorial mode. You're not meant to be with a man in tutorial mode because guess what? A man in tutorial mode is not yet ready to build life with you. And why would you be with a man in literally training mode when you could be with a man that's ready to build shit? He doesn't have to train because you've already trained for it. Because a man that is only stable in quarantine when nothing can penetrate him, what's going to happen with that? How are you going to face the challenges of life together? But he doesn't see that correctly because he's not yet ready to face that, and that's okay. It's existential shit. It's not easy to face that because for a lot of men, they've created a persona that can survive. Okay? That's different. And yes, there's a lot of men that went through immense shit, heartbreak, heartache, destabilized family system, abuse, all of that. I get it. So they've built a whole persona on survival. And that persona works. It works to a certain degree. Maybe it looks good on the outside. It's very presentable. Maybe he gets shit done. Maybe he even is very successful in certain ways. So he thinks that persona is working very, very well. He's not ready to look what's underneath there. Because if you strip that persona away, he wouldn't know who he is. That's not an easy thing to do. That's an existential thing. It will break him down to the most existential level. And just because he loves you won't mean that he's willing to do that. Because that's a lot to ask from a man who hasn't seen himself yet, who doesn't know what's in the deepest, deepest nooks and crannies of his being. And that's okay. You're not the one that's going to evoke that in him, not your love. Because when he's still in this survival build personality, everything that wants to break that personality down is an enemy. So he will not see the love that comes through you. He will just see attack. And a man that innately has trust issues, that doesn't trust life, that doesn't trust his own mother, that doesn't trust women, that doesn't trust life itself, and who doesn't trust God, will never be able to create safety for you. Nor will he be able to create a reality that's based on truth and safety. That's his journey. But when you're with a man like that, what he will do is anytime something moves through you, something is destabilizing him, whether it's an emotion of you, anger, fear, whatever it is, irritation, annoyance, whatever moves through you, whatever spontaneous expression moves through you that destabilizes him will be turned against you. And that's a problem. An initiated man is never moved, and I mean that he is not moved by your emotions. He's not moved by you being a woman. You are the river, my love. He is the riverbed. The riverbed is there to contain the flow of water. That's what a man is set up for. Hormonally, biologically, we are different. We are intended to be different. So a man is perfectly, hormonally, biologically set up and equipped to be the riverbed, to contain your emotions. I'm not saying be an immature, unmastered woman, right? There's stages that we move through. I'm not saying you can be an unhinged person. No, I'm speaking to women that take a lot of responsibility, that have healed within themselves, that have interrogated within themselves. You've interrogated enough, okay? I'm talking to these kind of women. And then when you allow life to move through you, which is actually the highest form of evolution, because I still think that a lot of us carry this belief that, well, if I was truly evolved, I would be unmoved by my emotions. Yeah, homie, you're not a monk on top of a mountain. You're not a monk on top of a mountain that doesn't deal with life itself. You're actually playing the game, not just hovering above it. You are in it, and there's a beauty in it. And the highest evolution is to actually allow life to move through you and allow God to move through you so freely. Because God is in every single one of your expression, not just the dainty fun parts, but God moves through you in every moment. God moves through you when you feel immense fire. God moves through you when you feel anger out of nowhere. Trust me, God moves through you in these moments. You've already removed all of the distortions and all of that shit. God moves through you in every expression. And sometimes you only see later how that was actually God moving through you. But once you're at a level of cosmic knowing, once you know who you are, once you trust what moves through you unwaveringly, you are able to surrender to emotions in such a beautiful way. So, meaning if there's all of a sudden anger arising in you, you don't have to suppress that. You don't have to suppress it. You're not going to question for the next 3 days what that little emotion was and where it came from and if there's something you have to resolve. No, you're allowing it to express. And guess what? With an initiated, real ass man, you can express that. And he's not going to turn that against you. He's not moved by it because he's not taking it personal. As the riverbed, he's containing it. He's observing it. Again, he's hormonally and biologically set up for that. That doesn't mean that he's going to allow you to trample all over him. He will stop you. He will contain you. That's what the riverbed does. He will give you boundaries if they're necessary. That's what a riverbed does. Because if there was no riverbed, there would just be water all over the land and nothing would flow into the ocean. The river wouldn't be distributed. The water wouldn't be distributed. The water wouldn't flow anywhere. It would just sink into the land. There's a beauty in this relationship, and you both have different roles. That has to be clear. And for an initiated man, that is very clear. And for a woman who knows her cosmic function, that is very clear as well. So your emotions are not the problem. Trauma, it's not the problem. It's not even existent. You don't have to regurgitate in it or repeat it, dwell in it. The only reason why it feels like it's not healing is because the union, the relationship that you're in is pointing a finger at you, and you're pointing the finger towards yourself, and that's confusing because there's nothing to point. There's perfection. But you might be in a dynamic that is not ready for this perfection. A lot of us can spiritualize these situations because we think, oh, we're still learning something. Well, first of all, life is school. No matter what situation you're placed in, you will always learn. But how many times do you have to learn a lesson to stand up for yourself and take your power back in a situation that didn't see you or honor you in the first place? How many times is that lesson valuable for you? When God is waiting to show you that beautiful lesson of being in a truthful relationship. And all of that drama is non-existent because guess what a truthful relationship does? It births life, it creates life, it protects life. So now you're not busy with solving tutorial mode problems anymore. You're not busy dwelling in shit that isn't important for days. You're actually building. You're actually rising together, uplifting one another. So one honest question I want to ask you is, if you are in a relationship that is just the same stuff all over again, you're not being seen, you're the one that's blamed, and you attempt to evolve him as well and take him by the hand and help him heal as well. If you're in all of that chaos, why? Is there a part of you that is not yet sure what your life is supposed to be like? Are you not yet sure of your vision or your mission? Because when you're not yet sure what your role is here in life, how you fit in, what your puzzle piece is, it gets a little more comforting to be distracted by a relationship and call it inner work. But when you are aware of your mission and your vision and something is pulling you and driving you, you will not tolerate this level of distraction anymore. Because there is something so much more important that you're meant to anchor and meant to build, that you can't have a relationship distract you. And it is distracting. If you're with a man that doesn't see you, where there's just friction, no deep, true love that is actually experienced. I mean, there is love, but it's not love in motion being experienced. All of that stuff is only tolerable when you're actually distracting yourself from something bigger. Because once your mission has penetrated and you know what you're here to do and you don't doubt this anymore and you know you're guided at every step along the way, even if you don't fully know yet what you're meant to do, you will not tolerate that level of distraction. And when you know your function as a woman, you're also not going to be apologetic about ruffling some feathers. You're not. Because you're not here to joke around. I mean, you are here to have fun and enjoy life, but you're here to create life that is safeguarded by its reality. And if there's anything in your reality that isn't safe, you remove it. And a man that cannot tap into truth, a man that cannot tap into his true feelings, emotions, that can hold you in your emotions, that's not safe. That's not safe for your children. It's not going to change just because you bring children to this planet. So a woman who knows her function knows that she will destabilize a man like that. And she's okay with that. But she will remove herself as well. And you're enabling something with that. And I'm going to ask you for a power move. Think about this. Then think about what impact this truly would have on the other person. If you're with a man and clearly he hasn't mastered that, he's in training mode, he's in tutorial mode, he's not initiated, do you think it's also more empowering for him? And that's a trick question because there's already an answer I'm implying. But do you really think it's empowering for him? Do you really think it's teaching him something? If God moves through you, life moves through you, he blames you, all of a sudden you shut life down within you, you blame yourself, what is he learning? What is he learning? Besides, he's perpetuating his misery and his lies as well. And think about the other scenario where a man in tutorial mode is trying to turn shit against you, is blaming you for destabilizing him, and you just stand there steadfast, looking him in the eye, able to communicate that, no, I'm not destabilizing you. God moves through me, and God is showing you where you're not yet safety. And not in these words. And also, that doesn't mean that like you speak as God now. But there's a certainty in you where you see clearly. You see your own shortcomings as clearly as you see his. So when there is just life moving through you, you can also stand your ground and you can see his shortcomings and not turn them against yourself. In that moment where you show this man that you know who you are and what moves through you, you're teaching him more than in 3 years of you self-abandoning. And it can be that easy. And if this video is anything, it's life inviting you into more ease. Life inviting you into a different lesson, a more beautiful lesson, a more productive lesson, baby. Because you're here to build something. And in an unstable foundation, you can't build anything. And a stable relationship, and what makes it stable is both parties knowing their cosmic function. That's where real beauty is built from. Trust your strength. Remember your strength. I love you.